Stories, Soul Work, and Substack. I'm John Rinaldo, joined by my co-host. Welcome to Stories, Soul Work, and Substack. I'm John Rinaldo, joined Stories, Soul Work, and Substack. I'm John Rinaldo, joined by my co-host, Kaz in the World. Each episode we share real stories, honest conversations that connect us through creativity and truth. Before we begin, please remember our discussions are based on personal experiences and not a substitute for professional advice. Now let's dive in.
Hey, how you doing? We've had a
Good.
bad. That was a bad intro.
What
I'm having technical.
happened?
I
It
think
was
I'm
like
having. I'm having technical issues. I think
oh,
again.
well, we know all about that. Yeah, it was like it was like deja vu.
It's like it.
Welcome.
It, it didn't want to.
It
It didn't want to
didn't
play.
didn't want to
So
move forward. It just wanted to say, I'm John Ronaldo. I'm John Ronaldo. I'm John Ronaldo. All right. We're
so I'm on a
we're
delay. It looks like I'm on a delay. So I'm having a hard time making any of this work on my end. So
uh-oh.
anyways, let's try to get this through. I think you're good, and I know we tried 100
Uh,
tomatoes, and he's good too.
yes, he's good.
Yeah, so yeah, it's coming bad on me on my feed. So, anyways,
We'll just deal with you.
yeah, so I might be playing more in the background than anything else. I'll let you guys um, figure it out from there.
Kibitz. Yeah.
But how was
That's all
your week
right.
so far? How was your week?
Oh, my week so far. Oh, it was good. It was good. My son and his girlfriend and I went to the last night of Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights and picked up a few. Everything was 70% off. I mean, the two t-shirts I bought 2 months ago, but that's the way it goes. And it was fun. It was really fun. And my next book is manuscript is ready to go. And my publisher is no longer MIA, of course. So no criticism. It's just, stuff happens. But yeah, all is well. The weather got cooler here into the 50s at night. Oh, it's my favorite season. I just love it. No leaves turning, but skies azure blue. And enough about me. What do you think about me? No. How are you, John?
I'm doing good. I finally we just had a busy
Yeah.
weekend. Just couldn't really catch up, and I still can't catch up from the weekend.
Oh,
So I'm kind
really?
of happy with that. But I'm noticing we're having a bunch of delays here, and I'm wondering if this is something we should restart.
Well, I mean, I can hear you, and I guess maybe if our viewers, whomever they may be or wherever they may be, want to chime in and let us know if they're also getting a delay, if they can
Yeah,
hear. I know someone said 2 weeks ago about the sound, and I said, that was beyond our control because it was kind of a thing in the States that was happening, and we did our best. But yeah, I don't know. Anybody, knock, knock, anybody there? Can you chime in and let
she's
us know?
Juliana just basically said she's having internet issues on her end, and I'm
Ah,
wondering if
okay.
it's just internet total issue.
Overall,
Because when I'm looking, I got strong, um, yeah.
you have strong a
So
signal. Okay, well,
I have a strong, but
um,
it's on the server though. But anyways,
okay,
no, I've been
tech.
having I'm having a good weekend. It was a good weekend, busy.
Good.
Did some volunteer work. We did some pancakes on Saturday, and then I had to
Nice.
play IT for the family for the last for Sunday. It was fun.
Mm, mm.
Restarting a whole server and setting up computers, tablets. Spent a lot of time at Apple, and it was fun. So play tech, and my son
Techie.
actually, my oldest, who is in cybersecurity, actually helped me out, which was
Oh
kind of
yeah,
cool. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that was kind of neat because, as you know, the strain of our children's relationships and things like that. So that was kind of that was kind of fun because he says like, I don't want to do IT work, Dad, and I said no, I don't want to do IT. I need cybersecurity help, and he was like, okay, I got that. So yeah, we spent a couple hours working on problems. So it was cool. Yeah,
And you said the exact right word instead of IT, cybersecurity, which
yeah,
sounds so much more elevated. Not that
yeah, and
IT
that's
isn't great. I mean, we need IT people. I need IT people. That's for sure.
well, I don't need IT people per se. What I needed, well, there was a situation we needed to get the server up and running, and I wanted to lock it down, and he helped me out with that because I don't know the protocols on those. So he
Mm,
obviously he knows better than I do, and it gave an opportunity to be a father and son opportunity. So
that's the best. That is
yeah,
absolutely the best.
son teaching
Yeah.
dad, which is even better. Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, so then today's show, I'm glad you're doing well. Hope everybody else is doing out there well. Thank you for everybody joining us today. This is awesome. Um,
Yes.
I have word that 100 Tomato is with us today. He's in the waiting room to come on in. This show, I just want to kind of give everybody a chance to understand what we're trying to do here. Um, so I love 100 Tomatoes because of his knowledge about movies, the ins and outs of stuff, why movies are important. And one of the things why movies are important, it's where do we start in Substack? We write stories, we write our pains, our sufferings, and all that, and hopefully they translate into a movie of something. And I'm not saying we all can get there, but at least it can kind of
No.
go there.
Yeah.
His way of interpreting movies is also kind of cool because it also helps writers understand how to write better as well, and give them a little bit uh, kind of get him going from there. So that's really why I like bringing him in because he can kind of give us a little bit of feedback and a little bit of understanding how things going. Now I know I'm having trouble with video, so I'm not going to be the one. I'm going to pull to the side and let Kaz handle the rest of the show with 100 Tomato. So and see if my video comes a little back and forth because people are saying there's a problem with my video.
R-
So
Oh,
so,
interesting. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
seeing it on my end, interestingly enough, but if the viewers are, then I'll
yeah.
do my best to make you proud.
You could.
And
So
well,
without
for me, because I've been a TV writer, I edit screenplays, I've been in films and television, so this is really close to my heart. I'm somewhat of a cinephile, so I will keep him very busy.
okay. So without further ado, let's
I
bring in
do.
Tomato.
100 tomatoes, tomato, tomato. Hooray for Hollywood.
Hey bud, how you doing?
Hey, it's great to be here with you all. John and Kaz, really appreciate the kind words and really love the work that you all are doing. So it's super excited to be back and to be talking movies because any day you get to talk about film is a great day. So
Right on.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we're so happy to have you back. It's so much fun when you're here. Not that it's not fun every time we do a show, but like like I said before, I'm a bit of a cinephile, so yay.
yeah,
So
John. Mhm.
so I'm gonna take more of a backseat because it looks like my video is having conniptions. So
It's faulty.
the IT guy should be fired for this. So I'm gonna let Kaz take on the role of comic relief
Interlocutor. Yes, comic relief.
and let you guys start the show. So thank you for coming on, and I'll let you guys go at it. I'm going to sit back more and just produce it. So, okay.
Thanks, John. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. We'll miss you. Hello. Oh my gosh. Right before when we were in the green room, you mentioned 3 current films because we have so much we could talk about. We could talk forever. We talked about 3 current films that you've seen, that you want to comment on, and we can banter about, talk about things that you want to see, and just, go with the flow, about film. So, one of the films that we talked about, I have seen, one I'm dying to see, and one I need to be introduced to. So, which would you like to talk about first? Something I am very familiar with, sort of familiar, or not familiar at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm trying to think of where a good place to start is. I'm thinking through this from like a chronological perspective because the 3 movies that I've seen recently that I think will have some very good odds at the upcoming Academy Awards this year are Sinners, which came out in the spring, and I was about 6 months late to the memo on that, but finally got around to watch it just in time for Halloween. I found it super fitting just because it's singing vampires. And I mean, what better way to celebrate Halloween than to watch movies about singing vampires? You got One Battle After Another came out sometime in September. And then you have Frankenstein, Del Toro's Frankenstein, which is in select theaters right now, but does not officially come out on Netflix until November 7th. So more than happy to talk about all those, but figure we can start off with Sinners, because I think that from chronological perspective, that's the one that was about 6 months ago, I think.
Right. And I have not had a chance to see it myself, but now that you've introduced it in the way you have, please elaborate on this film, and maybe you'll entice others to see it too.
Yeah, it's a really moving film. It's one that it came out in the spring, and I heard the hype about it. Everybody was saying that it's awesome. You have to see it. It's a one of a kind experience. Just as a quick synopsis of Sinners, it essentially takes place over the course of 24 hours, and it's this group of entrepreneurs. They come to the South from Chicago, or they come back home to the South from Chicago, and essentially they want to start up like a big kind of blues type of Sinners get together. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. And in the evening, they're then swarmed by a bunch of vampires, and they have to try and keep the vampires out from their house. There's a lot of different nuances towards the plot. I'm definitely giving the most simplified possible version I can think of when explaining it, but it stars Michael B. Jordan. It also stars Haley Steinfeld. One of the new actors in it absolutely blew me away. His name is Miles Catton. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, Catton. But he was absolutely phenomenal. And it's directed by Ryan Coogler. And if you're not familiar with his work, he also was the one who made Black Panther back in 2018. So he now has a reputation and a knack for coming up with movies with incredible soundtracks, and Sinner is no exception.
That sounds really, I mean, that's a genre that I can get behind. And like you said, you just saw it in time for Halloween. And for me, there's nothing like a good vampire movie. So that is on my list. I will definitely see that. I don't know if other people who are watching have seen it, and if you want to say something in the comments, we'll get to those a little bit later. That's in wide release now, or is it streaming right now?
If you got an HBO Max subscription, it's available on there. And there's also rental options, I think video on demand for about $2.99 for rental. And then I think maybe about $10 or $11 if you end up wanting to purchase the movie. But yeah, definitely a lot of options in terms of how to watch it. I believe they're doing an IMAX re-release in the coming either weeks or months. So that might be something worth holding out for as well if you would rather experience it on the big screen. It is definitely an extremely powerful experience from a musical perspective, and it's unique. It's definitely something that I haven't seen really in terms of the vampire genre, but also just the core premise of it is not something that I've seen in a long time.
Well, that's what I was actually going to ask you, is that vampire movies don't usually get Oscar buzz. You know, Twilight and all those films, they just don't get Oscar buzz because I don't think that horror, thriller, those genres are really something that the Academy or the voters have considered. And for you, what makes this? I'm thinking that you also think the soundtrack is Oscar worthy, but what has made you consider this to be an Oscar worthy film in terms, is it the story, the character arcs, the character development, the relationship between the characters, location, sets, costumes, et cetera, et cetera?
Great question. And there's so much to unpack here. And it's one of those things that's it's fascinating because it came out in April. And to your point, Kaz, a lot of the time the Academy kind of forgets about movies that came out in the spring. On top of that, horror doesn't always do particularly well. You have exceptions like The Substance or Get Out, but typically horror doesn't do that well. And so part of the reason why I waited 6 months to watch it was I kind of wanted the hype to die down a little bit. Sometimes you go into something with a lot of hype and it kind of clouds your judgment a bit. And so I didn't want that to happen. But the other thing was I was trying to engage whether or not this was going to just be a big spring hit or if this was going to be a serious contender. And it's become abundantly clear that this has become a serious contender from a nominations perspective. Mm-hmm. So down the list here, it's got a very well-rounded cast. So Michael B. Jordan puts on a really nice performance as two different characters, each of which has their own different set of ranges that they utilize. The music, like I said, is absolutely sensational. There's one musical number there in particular. It's a song called I Lied to You, and the scene behind it, the way that it's edited, the cinematography behind it, the musician's talent and the vocal range is great. Just all of it. I mean, just down the checklist, the sound, the editing, the cinematography, the way the song's written, since it's an original one that they made specifically for this movie, and even just the costume design, the production design, everything about that scene is one of my favorite scenes that I have seen this entire year. And one of the best scenes I've seen in recent memory over the course of the past few years. It's one that encapsulates just a beautiful message about the power of freedom of expression and how music especially desires that creativity that can really bring out the best in people. So that scene alone to me is worth the price of HBO Max subscription or a $3 rental. But really, there's a lot of different things. It's a very well-rounded film. Great acting, unique costume designs. You got some solid editing because they have to fit in so much over the course of 24 hours, and they managed to do so. The score is just next level. Ludwig Göransson, he's produced so many great scores over the years, and this one was one of my favorites of his. It's got like a bluesy undertone to it, bluesy kind of folksy undertone to it that you don't hear very often on the big screen. So all in all, Kaz, to summarize quickly, there's just so many different nooks and crannies within this film that make it so well-rounded and just such a compelling watch. One that definitely I think will get a lot of nominations during Oscar season. I predict at least 5, probably more. And Best Picture will definitely be one of them.
Everybody remember that. He's predicting 5 and maybe more. So that'll be really interesting to see, especially in this particular genre. But Michael B. Jordan, come on. I haven't seen him do really anything any wrong.
Yeah.
That it was a solid cast with him taking the lead and a dual role nonetheless. And that's really difficult. That's not, playing 2 separate characters for an actor where you're having to split yourself in half. It's hard enough carrying a film with just one character. So having 2. Now, did you say where does this 24 hours period take place?
I did not. I'm glad you clarified. So it takes place in the 1930s in Mississippi. Okay. So it's kind of a little bit of a period piece. So the costume design is more so directed towards that. So you have a lot of elaborate suits. You have a lot of elaborate kind of outfits that they wear in conjunction with the 1930s. And then so it's got this own, but it's got a little twist on it as well. So the cool part about the costume design within this movie is you can look at just about any character that you see in the background, and there's little nuances that you can pick up on, almost as if each character is trying to tell their own story, even if they don't have any lines in the movie.
Wow, that's an incredibly concise statement, observation about this. It's making me want to see it more and more. I'm definitely going to see it as soon as I possibly can. So, okay, shall we move on, or do you have more to say about this film? Because I will certainly listen to more. You don't
Sure,
have
yeah.
to edit. Don't have to edit yourself. As much as you'd like to talk about it, you are
Sounds great.
welcome.
Sounds great. Yeah, all in all, I believe I scored this about an 84 out of 100 tomatoes. I think most of those were pretty fresh tomatoes. So all in all, definitely would recommend watching Sinners. It's a unique experience with a ton of different components going to it. If I have one minor complaint, I do think that the director bites off a little bit more than he can chew in terms of how many different areas of society he wants to explore. He tries making some racial commentaries, religious commentaries, socioeconomic commentaries, and I love the bold ambition, but it does feel just a touch that he bites off just a little bit more than he can chew. Some of it goes a little bit over my head, but all in all, I mean, the acting, like I said, is great. The I Lied to You music number is phenomenal. Unique costume design, just a solid cast from top to bottom, and just a lot going for it, and just some really powerful messages about freedom of expression. So I really enjoyed Sinners, and all in all would definitely recommend that. Like I said, I'm standing by my prediction. I think it will definitely get a Best Picture nomination, and I think it will get 5 or more other nominations. Best original song. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So no. Best original song. I think it'll be Best Original Song, Best Costume Design, Best Casting, Best Score. Those 4, Best Picture. I think at the minimum you get those 5. I think you could also sneak in at cinematography. It could also get in at original screenplay. Potentially Michael B. Jordan, though he does stretch himself a little thin because he's playing 2 characters at once. So it's going to be hard to pinpoint which one they want to pick. And then there might be a few surprises thrown in there too. I mean, I thought Miles Catton as a supporting actor, or even a main actor, depending on where they market him, he could potentially sneak in there as well. So a lot of good things to say about that movie. It's very well rounded.
Okay, I do want to ask one more question about this movie. For people who don't seem to like the vampire genre, what could you say to them to convince them or to encourage them to give it a chance?
Totally, yeah, it's valid. So the issue sometimes with vampire movies is when we think about vampire movies, maybe we think of something like Twilight, or we think of a very stereotypical vampire that basically just lives to attack
Dracula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just kind of lives to attack people proactively. But the thing that I really liked about this twist on vampires, and why it doesn't even feel like they're vampires per se, it's just kind of what it ends up being, is most of the time I find it's the vampires are proactively attacking people, and then they're trying to run away and react to the situation. Whereas in this movie, it's a little bit more nuanced in that all of the vampires pose as just regular human beings with maybe something a touch off about them. And the thing that is fascinating is for these vampires to actually attack people in this, they have to be let in. Like there has to be some element of consent almost. So they're trying to enter into this kind of music, this blues club. And the only way they can do so is if the people in the club allow for them to come in. And so they try out a bunch of different techniques, all kinds of manipulation, all kinds of guilt tripping, different ways that they try to build common ground with people. There's romantic manipulation. And so there's all of these clever tactics that you see them use to try and get that consent so that they can come in and wreak havoc amongst people. And what I love about that is it's a great commentary on life in a lot of ways, because the reality is there's a lot of toxic people out there, but the only way they can actually be toxic towards us is if we let them into our lives. And so I love that take on the vampire genre that I had not seen before. And so if you're looking for something, if you're looking for a stereotypical vampire experience, you're not going to
This
get it.
isn't it.
But with this one, it's more nuanced and more unique than in the ways I've seen in past vampire films.
I love what you said about toxic. Can you repeat that one more time? Because I think it's a very good point for cinema and for life.
Yeah. So the way I see it is there's a lot of toxic people out there, and a lot of people who will try to maybe ruin your life and
Manipulate. Yeah.
But the reality is the only way for those individuals to be successful is if we allow for them to be successful. If we allow for them to guilt trip, if we allow for them to manipulate, if we give in to their tactics or their pressure or the way that they do things. That's the big thing that I loved about this, is it really helped me remember the importance of your own agency and individuality when it comes to dealing with those types of people.
And recognizing the toxicity, because sometimes we really second guess ourselves. And, oh, no, that person couldn't possibly be doing X, Y, or Z to me. Or no, did they actually just say that to me? Or did they actually just do that? I maybe I'm just not giving them a fair shake. I need to get them 1 or 2 or 40 more chances. So yeah, I get it. I totally get it. All right, so that is Sinners. Where shall we go next? Which one?
I'm thinking One Battle After Another. Kaz, if I'm not mistaken, you've seen this one, and
I
before
have.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Oh boy, without revealing too much about the film, I loved the acting. I loved the arcs. Newcomer young woman, Chase Infinity, who played Willa, the daughter, Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter
Yeah, Chase
in the
Infinity.
film. Oh, wow, 16-year-old. I don't know how old she really is, but I imagine she's around the age of the character that she played. She has such depth and maturity and bravery in her pursuit of the role. That's what really blew me away. And um, Leonardo's evolution of his character in the film, I don't want to use the word that I'm thinking to describe his character, because I think it would give away too much. It's and you've seen him in so many different genres of film, from basically horror to comedy to drama. To the only thing I don't think I've ever seen him in is rom-com, but it's an interesting flex for him, I think. Um, Benicio del Toro, I I loved him, but then I was kind of questioning where he went in it. Sean Penn. I will not be giving anything away, because I'm sure it's obvious in the trailers of what a horrific lunatic he is in this film. A white supremacist. It's a role that he flexed so many muscles in this role that I hated him so much and loved his talent. Does
That's
that
a
make
great way of
sense?
putting that. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, because he does such a great job at making you want to hate him. But it's the way that he makes you feel so uncomfortable throughout the course of the movie that it's worth commending 100%. It's one of those performances where you remember it, and you remember it because of how it made you feel. And the way it made you feel was just kind of angry and very uncomfortable. That's exactly what you want out of a movie villain, you know?
Oh yeah, he just made you feel gross the whole time, and how he evolved into being that type of human being. Um, Typically, films like my husband really wanted to see the film, and was curious. So I said, yeah, sure. It's not the typical film that I go to because it so mirrors real life. It so mirrors what we've been going through for decades in certain communities and certain walks of society and with certain individual cultures. Um, and I see it every single day, and it breaks because I'm extremely sensitive human being. I don't really, I try to stay away from the news as much as possible. I seem to know what I need to know when I need to know it, and everything else in many respects is extraneous. But the portrayal of life was not, art was not imitating life in this. Art was showing to every raw detail life. And that is so gut wrenching for me.
Yeah, I'm very similar in that regard, in that I try to stay away from the news as much as possible just because of how depressing it is. And to your point on One Battle After Another, it's I don't want to spoil too much.
Mm-mm.
The message that it has within it about the dynamics of power are extremely
Yes.
compelling and extremely interesting. And
Oh, I
so
just got chills. You were nail on the head. You just gave me chills. You're absolutely right.
yeah, I think thank you. I think that the big thing for those who haven't seen One Battle After Another, it's a fascinating. It's from Paul Thomas Anderson, who is a pretty famous and storied filmmaker at this point in time. I believe he's in his this is his 8th feature film that he's made. He's other ones include There Will Be Blood was a big one. Boogie
Daniel
Nights,
Day-Lewis.
yeah, Magnolia, yeah. So he's made a lot of just unique, thought-provoking films. Phantom Thread was another one over the
Uh,
years. And
Another D.D.L. Lewis. Oh my gosh. Licorice Pizza.
yes, yeah, he's got a great pedigree, and this one is no exception for sure. He definitely brings a unique perspective, and so it follows kind of two competing sects. You have these revolutionaries known as the French 75, and then you also have another group called the Christmas Adventurers, and you have these conflicting groups, essentially, both with their own set of ideologies. The French 75 is more so about liberating people from ICE facilities and trying to enact progressive change. And then you have the Christmas Adventurers, which is like a secret white supremacist club. And through all of that, there's a little bit more of a layer to it because there's more interpersonal conflicts. So it's one of those films that definitely has a political tinge to it, but it's not one that is super in your face about it, because it's more so about a commentary on overarching power dynamics that enable the ruling class to continue to be the ruling class, and how revolutionaries operate and what some of their potential downfalls are. So all in all, I mean, I agree with everything that you've said, Kaz. From a casting perspective, this is just a completely star-studded cast. Everybody turns in such a dynamic, great performance. Leo's one of the best in the business, and he proves it with this exact film. I mean, the range that he shows from acting as a compelling, caring father to someone who's being, who's freaking out over a situation. He has to try and get this password correct because he's trying to save his daughter. He ends up
Yes.
10 minutes to get that password correct. It was a whole thing. I mean, the way he sold the bombacity to that was just so fun to watch. And he knows how to captivate an audience extremely well. His range is impeccable. Definitely going to get an actor nomination there. Chase Infinity, to your point, was excellent in her ability to walk a fine line between being this strong, independent woman, but also this kind of bratty teenager. And it was just this really cool arc and development that you see Chase Infinity go through, and her range was also very impressive. So definitely a really good performance. Pretty much everybody in the movie who was part of the cast turned in, something compelling or memorable or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioned Sean Penn, that's a prime example. Even the supporting cast of Teyana Taylor and Regina
Yes.
Hall, who plays some French 75 revolutionaries. interspersed throughout the course of the film. They both have very memorable presences as well. So all in all, I mean, the casting this is one of the best casted movies I've seen this year, if not the best, and one of the better ones I've seen over the course of the past few years. The score is another thing that I really I found intriguing, because it almost sometimes sounds like a 6-year-old just messing with the piano keys, but they make it work. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it generates this intrigue as you're watching this movie, and you're just wanting
The
to
dissonance, there's such
Yeah.
dissonance to it sometimes.
Yes, exactly. So I liked the score a lot. The cinematography was also super cool, especially at the I don't want to spoil anything too much. There's a car chase scene,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's a bunch of different camera angles that they capture that really help set the scene, set the tone. And some of it is just absolutely breathtaking, but some of it's also just immersive. Like you feel like you're in the car chase as it's going
Oh,
along.
and the hill.
Yeah, the hills. Yeah, no, it's the
And I know
cinematography.
exactly where that is too. I've driven that many, many
Oh,
times.
really? Okay.
Yes, yes. We were, oh, remember that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and the fact that he had the camera almost on top of the pavement.
Hmm.
Do you remember that when
Oh,
they're
yeah, it
going
was
through
so
those
cool.
hills, and you feel at any moment you're going to just nosedive, and scrape into that, I mean, for that scene alone as a chase scene, and who's involved and how he shot that is worth seeing, is worth everything I went through to see that film and to stay there. Was that chase scene and her brilliance and her bravery. Eh, Oh my, the only thing I can say is that I adore Benicio del Toro,
Yes,
and
he
I
does a good
really
job
loved
too.
his character, but I thought he was a bit underutilized.
Yeah, I think the reality with the film is, with there being so many characters, there was only so much that they could do. But you're right. I can't believe I left Benicio del Toro out of the picture here, because he had some of the funniest,
Yes.
most compelling moments throughout the entire film. So just a very sympathetic character that you can't help but root for. He does a great job of building that persona, and has some memorable meme moments, throughout the course of it, especially kind of in his last hurrah. And so, yeah, it's great. I thought he turned in a great performance, and really the whole cast was just excellent. So there's no question in my mind that this will be nominated for best casting. Leo will get best actor. Just the acting wise, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, I mean, for sure Leo, for sure Sean Penn, but
I
I
think
wouldn't be
so.
surprised if we see a few others sneak in there. Maybe Benicio del Toro might sneak in
Supporting.
in supporting.
Chase Infinity you
Infinity
never
for the
know,
best
you
actress
know.
too. I think there's
hmm
definitely that possibility, and then you have either Tiana Taylor or Regina Hall potentially sneaking in on the supporting actress front. So
Tiana she just blows up everything.
her
I mean,
energy, yeah.
she blows up every single scene she's in. It's just, and you struggle with being ticked off at her, and really you're heartbreaking for her.
Yeah. Oh,
That
for sure.
yeah, and I really was angry with her at sometimes, and then just felt, as a mother, that's all I'll say. So yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the reason people need to go see this film? Hundo.
Yeah, definitely. Hundo. Yeah. I definitely would recommend this film. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So there are a few things I would say. For starters, as we've talked about, the acting in this is phenomenal. So if you want to be immersed in some just really great, rangeful acting that draws you in, I mean, that alone is definitely worth the watch. It's got some unique commentaries on the nature of power that I think are really cool to explore, really interesting to explore. And just all in all, it's just a well-made movie from start to finish. I mean, it's edited in a way, even though it's 2 hours and 50 minutes long, it's edited in a way where it doesn't really feel like it drags, which is something that is always an impressive feat in filmmaking.
Yes.
So a lot of reasons to watch it, but all in all, I would say it's a unique thrill ride with great acting and some fun, moments, and as well as some really nice cinematography, music, and it's just a great immersive experience with that makes you think, and that's the most you can ask for. out of a good movie. So I believe for this one, I scored it 82 out of 100 fresh tomatoes. My only minor complaint was I thought that they could have built out a few more characters a touch better. I think that Regina Hall's character could have used a little bit more. To your point, they underutilized Benicio del Toro a little bit.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, 82 out of 100, very good movie.
A very good score.
And then I would say from a nominations perspective, it's a lock for a Best Picture nomination. It will contend to win. Whether or not it will, I don't know. But I think at this point, I don't know, but it will definitely contend to win the award for Best Picture this year. I anticipate at a minimum 7 nominations for this movie.
You heard it here. You heard it here. What did you say? How many?
Minimum of 7. So Sinners, I put the floor at 5. For this one, I put the floor at 7.
7. Well, we will keep an eye on that. Anything else you'd like to add about One Battle After Another?
Those are the main things. I would say the big categories that we can really compete in for the upcoming Academy Awards would be definitely the acting. So Best Casting, Best Picture, Best Director. You also have Best Actor in Leo, Best Supporting Actor in Sean Penn, Best Cinematography. You have, I can't remember if I said score or not, but Best Score, Best Editing. And then I think you might even see a few others, some of the other members of the cast sneak in, whether it's Teyana Taylor, Hall, or Benicio del Toro, or Chase Infinity. I think you could
Chase Infinity. Yeah.
The record amount of nominations, I believe, is either 13 or 14. I could see this one, if the casting nominations go their way, I could see it getting 12 or 13 even.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So that is One Battle After Another. Now, because I love this genre, I am a sucker for a good Frankenstein movie. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein with Oscar Isaac. That man can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I'm excited about this. Guillermo del Toro, Pan's Labyrinth, Hobbit, Five Armies, Shape of Water. If anyone has seen these films, what did you think?
Definitely worth watching. It's been a good season so far in terms of availability. So, I mean, to your point, Guillermo del Toro is a one-of-a-kind filmmaker with just such a unique mind in the way that he approaches films, especially from an aesthetics perspective. I believe The Shape of Water utilized the color green in probably about 100 different ways, 75 to 100 different ways. It was so impressive in that regard. And the score in that, and just, I mean, all in all, Del Toro's movies, when you go into that movie, you're going to immerse yourself in a unique universe. You may not
You're on a ride. You're on a ride. Yep.
You may not like the story, but you will at least be in a universe that feels immersive. And the other thing with Del Toro is so this movie Frankenstein, didn't premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, but it was playing there, and that film without a doubt had the most buzz of any film that I heard about when I was at that festival, because
really,
I swear every day I had at least 3 or 4 people ask me, "Have you seen Frankenstein yet? Have you seen Frankenstein?" And so I had to kind of be the bearer of bad news because I wasn't able to get tickets for it. There were 5 screenings. They were all sold out. Everybody wanted to see Frankenstein. The People's Choice Awards at TIFF, at the Toronto International Film Festival, Frankenstein finished second in fan choice voting next to Hamnet, which is coming out in Thanksgiving. So definitely a ton of buzz there. So I was intrigued. I wish I could have seen it at the festival. Didn't get a chance to. I did have an opportunity to see a press and industry screening of it, but it was also at the same time at the Smashing Machine, and that one had a ton of buzz at the time. So I ended up opting for that one. But luckily, I still got to see this in theaters. I would say from an aesthetics perspective, the world building is uniquely Del Toro and is so captivating. I mean, the production design, there's so many different locations that they use that are just built from scratch and just so detailed and intricate that it makes it just mesmerizing in a lot of ways. So the production design is excellent. The costumes are just on another level. I mean, there were more outfit changes than I can count. You had the Victorian era style costumes. You had, the hairstyling and makeup on the Frankenstein character, who had their own unique vibe and unique persona. You had I mean, the list goes on and on. The costumes in it are just absolutely phenomenal. And just every single character, like there's never a point where you look at what a character's wearing and you're like, that's boring. Like it's just so vibrant, just so detailed, so intricate. And it's cool too to see how these costumes start to drive the plot forward or set the tone of various scenes too. You see the use of red in certain moments to indicate power or transition of power. You see blue in other instances to kind of blend in with the art. I mean, it's just so well thought out. It's incredible. So the production design, costume design, the score is very memorable, very fun, very intriguing, I guess is the best way to describe it. Alexandre Desplat is the composer there. He's done a lot of great stuff over the years. This was no exception. So the production and costume design are great. The cinematography, again, I feel like I've been talking about cinematography this whole time, and it's just so much good cinematography going on these days. But
it's important. It makes or breaks it.
They set so many different captivating scenes and moments. They have so much symmetry in the way they do things that I really enjoy. And you not only get a chance to appreciate the beauty of the locations very well through the cinematography, but all the action scenes they have do a great job at catching good close-ups while also creating scenes where you can get multiple perspectives. So all in all, aesthetically, this is a excellent movie. And it's just one that it's this universe that you just want to explore more of and be a part of. Another thing that is definitely worth a shout out is Jacob Elordi plays the monster.
Yes.
And he puts on a top tier performance. He has so much ground to cover throughout the film because he has to basically act as a monster who doesn't have rudimentary human functions and then has to grow throughout the course of the movie in a believable way. And he does so compellingly. So I thought Jacob Elordi stole the show from an acting perspective there. Oscar Isaac has his moments, his flashes of brilliance as well. But Jacob Elordi was the true star of this show in the way that he creates that character and really makes it his own. And the last thing on the aesthetics front, the makeup and hairstyling behind the Frankenstein character, along with the prosthetics as they're experimenting on various Frankenstein type creatures, just excellent work. I think if they're going to win any awards this season, it will be for that. Just so detailed again and just unique. It's unique. They put a twist on a movie that's had probably 900 renditions at this point.
At least starting in the 20s.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the first movie was in, I think, either the 20s or the 30s with Boris Karloff. But the novel itself was written in 1818. So you have all of that, plus the musical Young Frankenstein, which is always a fun.
Always fun. Always fun.
So, I mean, just the fact that he could create something like this that still makes it feel unique, despite it being such a long-standing story, is definitely worth praise. I thought the writing could have been a bit stronger. I think they could have built out some of the characters a little bit more, other than the main monster in question. I think Victor Frankenstein, they could have, added a few more layers to that individual, along with some of the supporting cast. But all in all, definitely worth seeing. It's an immersive universe, and their take on Frankenstein is one that is definitely enjoyable. So I ended up giving that one I believe I gave it 77 very ripe tomatoes out of 100. I think sneak into a Best Picture nomination. I don't think it will win, but I think it will sneak in. And I think that we'll see, at the very least, it compete in costume design, production design. I think it could sneak in as a score nomination and a cinematography nomination. So I'm anticipating a minimum of 3 nominations. I think that's the floor for this. I could see it maybe getting 5 or 6.
Oh, you heard it here. 3, maybe 5 or 6. Well, when you talk a lot about the cinematography, and I think with Del Toro, what strikes me a lot is how he lights a set and his use of lighting and dark and light and shadows. You talk about color, but just the simple fact of such attention to detail of lighting. And I think that when people go and see a film, that what we need to understand is the score, of course. I mean, what would Psycho or Jaws or anything be without the music, right? That da 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 or that but he paints with the lighting like these people who write this, these composers write the scores, and that is so impactful for the viewer, because if he had chosen different lighting palettes or different lighting schemes, I don't think it would have the impact. Uh, and this is in all of his films. It's not just in what I've seen from this film, but I mean, for someone who looks at the acting and then the score and then the sets, but to me, for me to feel that the lighting and the use of lighting is so impactful means it really has made an impression, and I want people, if they can keep it in the back of their mind too, when they're being immersed in a film like this, to give a make sure they take a look at the lighting and how it's being lit and how they feel about it and how it is what visceral emotions they're having from the lighting that they're being exposed to.
I love that observation so much, and this is definitely something that rings true in Del Toro's Frankenstein, because there's such a creative use of lighting in various scenes. There's this immaculate window that is used in Frankenstein's tower as he's experimenting and trying to make this piecemeal human come to life. And the way that they use the lighting through that window is incredible. So I love that observation you bring up, Kaz, because that is definitely another underrated component to this film that you see. And he's so intelligent in the way that he strategically utilizes these nooks and crannies.
Hmm. Hmm. So, what, in your observation, what is this Frankenstein saying that other Frankensteins have not?
That's a great question, because I've thought about that one a little bit, and that's something where I think this movie could be a little bit better, because I
Mm,
think that they do put a little bit of a twist on it. Granted, it's been a while since I've seen other Frankenstein interpretations. They seem to really emphasize the importance of curiosity in one's development as an individual, as opposed to, it's the carrot of compassion that beats the stick, or whatever you want to say. And ultimately you see these contrasting styles on how they treat this monstrous creature, and how one style works much better than the other one. And I
mm,
and there's definitely certain elements of uniqueness there. The thing about this, I find, is the interpretation really comes into its own on the aesthetics front, as just because the creature they create is different from any other rendition I've seen, and the universe they
mm,
create behind it is one of a kind. So I find that
mm,
most of the advancements within this film are more so on the aesthetic front and less so on the writing front. Not that the writing,
mm.
but it definitely is more of an aesthetic, immersive experience that will make you think a little bit. But it's definitely not, from a plot perspective, super different than some of the previous Frankenstein renditions.
Interesting. Well, to me, and you may disagree, and our viewers may disagree, but one of the best, uh, not takeoffs on Frankenstein, departures for what I consider to be Frankenstein-esque is Edward Scissorhands
Oh yeah,
with
that's a good one.
Johnny Depp and Christopher Lee. And I think that that is a very interesting, even though this Frankenstein integrates into society to some extent. I think it was one of the most, I mean, come on, Tim Burton. He's so expansive in the way he thinks, but
Yes.
I feel it was a very unique take on the theme of Frankenstein, a departure of Frankenstein. Well, I'm still going to see the film, of course, because a 77 for me is, and I would like to see it in the cinema, because there are just some films that are, and we can get into talking about that further if you'd like. There are some films that are must sees in the cinema, and I don't go to the cinema a lot. Um, and I got out of it because of the pandemic. And then it became so easy because I have a very big screen TV in my home and a watching room. So other than being with other people in the cinema, which I don't need because I will cringe and laugh very readily and easily without anyone having to kind of prod me to do that. But for me, there are just some films that have to be seen in the cinema. And I think that this is one that I will have to see in the cinema. And we cannot forget Christoph Waltz. I want to
Yes.
know what you think about Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz did *Inglourious Bastards* with Brad Pitt, and won an Oscar for that, and can currently be seen in this season of *Only Murders in the Building* on
Right.
Hulu with Steve Martin and Selena Gomez and Martin Short. But Christoph Waltz, wow! What I'm hoping that he's delivering. I'm hoping that he has enough to do and that he's really delivering like he usually does.
He's a phenomenal actor. There's no question about it. He, as you mentioned, *Inglourious Bastards* is a really good reference. I believe he was also in *Django Unchained*. He's been in
Yes, 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 yes.
several other great projects. So he's a very, very talented actor for sure. This one, he takes more of a backseat, kind of a supporting role. You see him a little bit, and he brings his usual charm to the screen. Unfortunately, this wasn't the most memorable Christoph Waltz performance I've ever seen.
Oh, that's too bad.
Mhm.
But
But he brings his usual charm. So the scenes he's in, he does bring an enjoyable aura that stands out a little bit. Unfortunately, like I said, he doesn't get an opportunity to utilize his range in ways that he has in the past.
oh, okay. Well, that's by virtue of the character that he chose to play, not virtue of his talent or his abilities. So I still want to see it. I still want to see him. What did you think about Mia Goth?
Yeah, she gets some good chemistry with Oscar Isaac, and she definitely brings she very believable performance. The reality I find with this is they have a great cast, but unfortunately, it seems like some of it gets undermined by writing that doesn't give them enough opportunities to take their performances to the next level. So I
Mm.
enjoyed Mia Goth. There was no acting performances that I looked at and was like, wow, that's bad. Like, it wasn't like, I hate to throw this specific performance under the bus, but it wasn't like Robert Pattinson in Twilight, where you watch that and you're like, this is brutal. Granted, Robert Pattinson has more than redeemed himself since then, doing a great job in the White House.
Absolutely. He's a very competent actor for sure.
This was miscast in that instance. So I don't want to say too many negative things
We're
about
not
Mia.
going to besmirch him.
Yes, we're gonna keep it positive for the most part.
Yes,
So
yes.
the acting in this is it's solid. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. The issue that I ran into was, as I walked out of the movie, I was like, Jacob Elordi absolutely crushed it, amazing. Oscar Isaac has flashes of brilliance, but then the rest of the cast was just kind of there, and they do a good job at moving things forward, and they bring a believability to themselves and a credibility to themselves that is sympathetic and enjoyable. But there wasn't anything that just like gripped me and made me think, oh my gosh, like that was just next level awesome.
Were they underutilized or were they underwritten?
I think underwritten is the best way to describe it. Underutilized potentially, though. You do get a decent amount of screen time with Mia Goth. I think that Christoph Waltz's character, not as much screen time. Mia Goth gets a decent amount more, but definitely underwritten is the way I would describe it. There just didn't seem to be too many opportunities for them to take their performance to the stratosphere, like they are all capable of.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that's an honest input, and hopefully it didn't put people off of going to see it, even if it's for the cinematographic elements and Elordi. I think it sounds like a good watch for sure.
Definitely. I would definitely recommend watching this movie. It's a unique, immersive experience with a fresh take on the universe of Frankenstein. And again, an amazing performance from Jacob Elordi. So definitely recommend it. I really do think it's going to sneak into Best Picture for the Oscars. And 100% Kaz, watch that in theaters because it really elevates the viewing experience. There's not very many movies that are capable of doing that with the technology we have today. This is definitely one of those movies you want to see in theater to get the true experience with it.
Well, and Del Toro is such a master of kind of the monster. Shape of Water, Hellboy. Here, he really has a soft spot for creatures that are seen as monsters, but have inner depth and feelings and emotions and deserve to be. I mean, and it's definitely a statement of. He makes this amazing statement with all of his creatures of judgment and about injustice and about dismissal of that which is different, that which is
Yes.
not like this, not the same as others, that which looks different or sounds different or moves different. He's made his mark in representing those creatures from a point of sympathy and the need to represent them, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that what you said is spot on, and Del Toro knows how to bring those to life. I'm so glad that he took on this project of Frankenstein and put his unique spin on it because, as you said, he has a specialty in creating these types of universes, and this was a really good fit for him from a filmmaking perspective.
Yeah, I think so too. So what's coming up and what are the films are you Hey, there's John. He's back. We missed you. Have you been listening?
Yeah, I've been listening. It's been really the quality is pretty bad. So
Oh no.
It's too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
John, I think you said tomatoes are proof that red flags can still be delicious. That's love. Yeah, definitely some truth behind that one for sure. Definitely some gaslighting going on too. The only fruit that's been gaslighting us for a few centuries. Absolutely could not agree more with that sentiment.
Oh my gosh.
So we're proud of it as tomatoes. So.
you guys are
So,
paying attention to chats, I see.
well,
A
we're
little bit.
trying. I haven't looked at oh, you mean chats. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
No, in the chats, I've been playing around with
Oh,
people. Yeah.
okay. That's great.
Um,
Oh yeah. Okay, there you go. I just saw it. Okay. Proof that red flags can still. That's hilarious. No, I've been too engrossed in chatting with Michael to actually I'm sorry, looking at the comments. It's just something I could immerse myself in for days. So as I said before, John so rudely interrupted. Kidding. What else would you like to share? What other movies that you feel are getting buzz and you would like to bring to our attention?
Sure thing. There's a lot coming out this year. This is a strong year for movies. I didn't say that last year. There's a lot of unique content coming out over the next few months. So I'll just list off a few that have stuck out to me that are on my radar. One of the big ones, of course, is Wicked, the part 2 to that coming out on November 21st. The first part was, I didn't like how they split it into 2 parts, but the first part was extremely well executed. And I see no reason why this second part wouldn't be. So definitely, if you like musicals, if you like Wicked, highly recommend putting that one on your radar. A few other ones as well. Tonight, I'm actually going to go see a movie called Bugonia. It is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. It's starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. Yorgos Lanthimos always brings something eccentric to the screen, so I'm curious.
Really eccentric. And this is not the first time he's worked with Emma Stone, is it?
It is not. No, the second time in a few years, actually. Yeah, because they worked together on Poor Things back in, I believe, 2023-ish. So yes, that's on. I'm seeing that tonight. I'm curious how that one's going to go. A few other ones. There's one called Sentimental Value that's coming out. It should be out this weekend. That one has generated a ton of buzz around the world. I don't quite know the premise of it, to be honest with you, but it has a great cast, and everything I've heard about so far has been nothing short of incredible. It won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
So definitely be on the lookout for that. A few others to look out for as well. There's another one coming out in December called Marty Supreme. It's with Timothée Chalamet. I don't know why, but Kevin O'Leary. Curious how he's going to perform. But anyway, that one's coming out in December. It's a ping pong movie, so I can't remember the last time I've seen a movie like that. Since probably Forrest Gump would probably be the last time I've seen a ping pong movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other one, two other ones to be on the lookout for. So one coming out in mid-November on the 14th on Netflix. It's called Jay Kelly. It's with George Clooney and Adam Sandler. It's directed by Noah Baumbach. It's kind of a biopic of this fictional actor who's trying to struggle with this existential crisis. And then the last one to turn your attention to, I would say, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but the last one I would say to turn your attention to is it's called The Testament of Anne Lee. So it's a musical starring Amanda Seyfried. That should be coming out in December or January. And I believe it's the woman who directed it, her husband directed The Brutalist. So it's this kind of power couple of directors. So all in all, a lot coming down the pike. Those are the main ones I would say. And yeah, I'm curious how Bugonia will go, and I'm also curious how the listed will go.
Bugonia is the one I have my eye on because Jesse Plemons and Emma. But the premise, which I'm not going to be telling tales out of school of, she's a mover and a shaker. She's, I think, a billionaire, a business person, and she's kidnapped, and he accuses her of being an alien. So that is wow. And the trailers are really compelling. Both performances are super, super compelling. And Jesse has gotten really svelte. I mean, super, super svelte. I for years and years, he was more on the chunky side. And now he's in this greyhound phase of his life, which gives him a real kind of more, I don't know, not to say hungry, but it gives him that more gaunt, intense kind of look to him. So that will be, and Emma's known, like you said, Poor Thing, and then she did The Favorite. She's known for these characters that are a bit off the beaten path.
Yes, I would agree 100%. She's taken that kind of turn in her career. And it's been interesting to see for sure. She has 2 Best Actress trophies to her name, and who knows, maybe a third one's on the horizon.
You never know. You never know. I would have to see it first. I'm dubious about that, but you never know. I mean, we have been surprised before, so we shall see. And what are you most excited about seeing upcoming?
I would say of the movies that are coming out now, I'd have to think about this one a little bit more. The one that I've been really excited about, and it's not even one of the ones that I listed. I completely forgot about it until I just thought about it a few seconds ago. So it's a movie directed by Bradley Cooper. It's called Is This Thing On? And it's starring Will Arnett. It's starring Will Arnett, and it's this film about a stand-up comedian who's going through this kind of existential crisis. And there's something about it that just seems interesting to me. And so it seems funny, but also kind of compelling. And it seems like it's going to take you on a roller coaster of emotions, make you laugh, make you cry. That one is one that I have on my radar at the moment. That's the one I'm most excited to watch. And I'm very curious as to how it's going to go.
Will has proven himself to have quite a range because he's been more looked at as sort of an absurdist, that kind of comic, um, uh, almost deadpan comedy. But I've seen him in a few things where he's really tugged at the heartstrings. And I think this one will show a lot more of his range because he's completely carrying this and being a bigger vehicle too.
Yes. Yes, I'm excited because I think this is a great opportunity for him to really showcase his acting chops, and he's a very funny, talented individual, and I believe a proud Canadian too, if I'm not mistaken.
Proud Canada, oh Canada, Blue Jays. Anyway,
Oh, enough of the Blue Jays.
uh,
I didn't want to bring it up. I saw the game. It was gut wrenching.
oh yes, I couldn't watch. My husband watched and gave me a blow by blow until I put my head under the covers and said enough. So, congratulations, LA. But okay, John, have you seen anyone on any questions from our viewers of for
No,
a
not really.
100?
Not really, but they've all been
If anyone has any questions, they're welcome to put them in the chitty chat. Uh, one battle after another. Oh yeah, who's somebody? Okay, yeah. Um, John, you have anything to add, subtract, comment?
You're doing a great. I mean, I know this is your genre. I know you love doing this, and it was kind of neat to sit back and watch you guys talk because you were going all over the place. Well, not all over the place, but you were really engaged and into that. So it was good to listen to the conversation. So yeah, it was good.
Well,
Um,
he really made me step up my game, which I'm always up for that. Like John makes me step up my game. That's why I love doing this show with you because we have to be present and uh, you know, there are too many things in life that keep us from being present or too many things that we have going on in our heads. And I think it's wonderful when you can banter with someone or you can dialogue with someone and you're ultimately present while you're with them. I find it incredibly refreshing and exhilarating. So I thank you both for that.
so 100 tomatoes. So what's your next step here? What do you plan on doing?
Got a few things coming down the pike, so I hope to have a review of Bugonia coming out sometime in the next few weeks. As things kind of trickle in, I'll be doing kind of more and more reviews, and then I'm hoping at some point in time I can get a compilation of various interviews from people who work in the industry.
Okay.
So that way we can. So right now. There's an interview I have coming up potentially with a composer, and then to be named later, and then also a potential short film director as well. So
Oh,
a few short film directors trying to get more spotlight on kind of the smaller operations there that are also very powerful. And definitely looking forward to chatting with you all in December about Christmas movies. I'm super pumped about that. And so those are the main things that I have going on right now, and definitely excited to see what's in store. Today is actually the 1 year anniversary of me being on Substack. So
I know. Congratulations. I
Congratulations.
saw that. Good for you. Woo woo.
That's
And
awesome.
everyone, if you love movies, 100 Tomatoes is it's intellectual, well versed, obviously expresses himself well, but really can dissect and examine and help you to understand not only just as a viewer, but as someone who loves cinema or is invested in cinema, or someone who might be struggling with finding things to watch or struggling to find genres that you really like. I think that you impart such great information that it could really boost people's interest in the cinema. And it's art, art imitating life. Yes, life imitating art. Yes, but I think that the cinema has had has been struggling over the last few years because of what we went through with COVID and getting people to get out of their homes. Like I said, I'm not always going out to the cinema, and I especially going like the first viewing where there's no one there, and I feel like Nicole Kidman says in her trailer, every movie you see, there's something about sitting in a cinema and being in front of this big screen and being immersed in a film. There's just, I'm getting goose flesh. There's really nothing like it. I don't care how big your screen is at home. So you help bring the movies to life for people.
I really appreciate the kind words, and I always love chatting with the both of you. You bring such unique and fun and insightful perspectives on everything. And so definitely looking forward to seeing what's coming down the pike for both of you, and everything like that. So yeah, really appreciate all of this. It's a really fun segment that you all do here. And yeah, I just absolutely love reading all of your work that you all come up with.
Oh, thank you. Well, John and I have been working hard, and we're booked through February, aren't we, John? Mostly. We're being really fortunate that people have asked to be on the show, and we've asked people to be on the show, and I don't think one has said no so far. So that's a win, which shows that something like this podcast series, that there's room for it. There's a place for it. And John and I have similar styles in writing and similar heart that we put in our writing, but we're very different people. And I love that because we can bring different perspectives to the topics that we decide to present to our viewers. And any chance that I can be comic relief is a good day. So, you know.
And then the reason why I think let's get back on I want to talk a little bit about the writing part of this. So if you're listening to 100 Tomatoes and his reviews, you kind of get the understanding of where someone is interested in the storyline. There's always an arc or some type of captivated moment that kind of draws people in there. So when you're writing, one of the things I hope this pulls out of here is that you know how to you start listening to that, and that's how you become a better writer. Is you're following people's not critiques, but their passions of where things are happening in a movie, or why is it taken in that way. So when you're writing, hopefully you're understanding that, you have to make sure you develop the character better, because we talked about one of the movies that the characters weren't developed quite full. So you might have to worry about that, or you might have to make sure you have to explain certain things of why certain things are happening. Now I know Substack has limitations in some cases, but when you're writing a book, or when you're more elaborate in the sense of more space to write, that's where you need to start looking at and see how to improve those skills. And listening to reviewers and people who are into the critique of movies and all that helps to hone that skill more and more and more. And you get a lot better as you write, because now you're understanding how storylines developed. And the way you understand that develop is understanding how movies are made, how people critique them, and that's how you become a better writer overall. So
Well said, John. Very well said.
I would be curious to know if you have ever reviewed a film and someone involved with the film took exception to what you had to say. I mean, kind of like an Under the Tuscan Sun thing with Diane Lane, where she reviewed books, and she found out that her husband was cheating on her because someone who she gave a bad book review to had seen her husband with someone else, and at a party just casually dropped that into her lap, which changed her entire life, eventually for the better. But has that ever happened to you?
Thankfully, not yet. It's a big reason why I go under this 100 Tomatoes pseudonym, is because if they get mad for me criticizing something, then they're just getting mad at a bunch of tomatoes. And so it just looks kind of weird. And so for me, that's the main reason why I don't go by my name or anything like that. So I can just kind of speak freely. And if they get mad, they're getting mad at something.
George Costanza, that's who you are.
Yeah.
They're getting mad at pasta sauce. Yeah.
They're getting mad at, I think, John, you
Potential
described it
pasta
best,
sauce.
a conglomerate of tomatoes that look like they've gone through a rough marriage. I think you put that line in your spotlight of my page a few months back, and I loved it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So no, luckily, Kaz, I haven't had anyone come after me yet. I will say I was a bit critical of the Harry Potter films earlier this year when I rewatched them. I enjoyed them, so don't shoot me. I enjoyed them, but there was definitely some components of it that needed to be criticized. And I lost my fair share of subscribers through that. So nobody directly confronted me, but I lost a few subscribers just by.
No, that's too bad, because I absolutely adore the Harry Potter series. I probably watched it dozens of times in its entirety, but as time goes on and I see them completely and more fully, I don't, this character, the development of this character, there's a cohesion problem here. I don't like how, I even if I love a film, I'm not I don't shy away from watching it with a critical eye. And I don't think that because you watched it with a critical eye, you're saying Harry Potter, screw you, Universal Studios and Harry Potter, they've already made their billions, or J.K. Rowling or anything like that. But I think we have every right, and you, as what you do, and being very astute and educated and knowledgeable and critical eye, you have every right to dissect these films.
Yeah, my take is
I didn't like Harry Potter. It's just, by the way, I hated it.
Oh, well,
boring. I thought it was boring and stupid.
Well, tell us really how you feel.
I thought it was just no. Now, don't get me wrong. I went to the train station where it had the magic door in London. What's it called? 9.5? Was it 9.5?
9.5, yeah. Platform 9.5. 9 and 3/4.
So I was there.
9 3/4.
That's it. 9 3/4. So yeah, no, I thought I really thought that. I mean, it was a great storyteller in the sense of the book, but I think when I went to the movie theater, I thought it was a little bit too. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Did you read the books?
I read some. Yeah.
I read them
But
all, and there's stuff missing. There's definitely stuff missing.
But I wasn't really like that. Was just, but that's not my job. That's not me. I'm more into the adventures and history and things like that. So, I like to be
Fantasy
challenged.
is not for everyone. Fantasy is not for everyone, except at Epic. Epic at Universal Studios, they have the entire Ministry of Magic. I mean, it's the entire set of Ministry of Magic, and you feel like you are in the world. It is absolutely insane. You're walking down, you can go through go by flu powder through a tunnel. I mean, the immersion Universal is known and Disney are known for that, but the immersion, I understand the ride I haven't ridden it yet, but just being in that immersed in that set is just crazy. But I get it. There are definitely holes between the books and the films. Have you read them, 100?
I've read the first 3 books. I didn't end up getting around to reading the rest. I've talked to a lot of Harry Potter fanatics who have told me and have broken down to me how much better the books were than the movies. And so I definitely have come to appreciate that. All in all, the way I see it is if Universal Studios or Alfonso Cuarón or whoever, all the directors for David Yates, Chris Columbus, if they have issues with what, Rotten Tomatoes' father's, cousins, brothers, nephew's former roommate has to say about their movie, I feel like, they need to get a life. So, I think that the way I see it is, so I think at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, I enjoyed watching them, but the thing for me is when I write these things, if I just wrote, if my Substack newsletter just said Harry Potter, I had fun watching this post, no one would read it. So I have to a little bit more. So that was part of the reason why I was a little more critical of those. And it again, nobody really like cared. It's all in good fun. Everyone's having a good time. But it was interesting to see, like, after I believe the third Harry Potter movie that I reviewed, I think it was I was reviewing the Half-Blood Prince, and I'm pretty sure my subscriber count dropped
That's the fourth.
by about 10 to 15 people by the time I about an hour after it
I
published.
wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. My fart story lost a few subscribers as well.
Oh, I got them all back. Like, I got new subscribers, so it wasn't a big deal.
See, they're more where that came from, and
but I had a fart story that I posted, I think last week sometime.
I thought that was funny, John. I thought that was
another you mentioned. It was pretty funny.
That was funny.
Some people found it to be offensive, so I was okay, whatever.
Why? Yeah. Because you said fart. You didn't say pass. You didn't say pass gas. You didn't say poof. You said fart. I mean, come on. Where are we? Grade school? Seriously.
Like, they went described. But okay, whatever.
Ever since I've been writing, I've been in this conversation in the last week with someone talking about, writing things and going over and over and over and over them again in your mind. I know a screenwriter who I've been editing some of his screenplays, and then he's taken it to other people for feedback, and they're giving him feedback, and he's rewriting. And I'm like, if you never lock it, because I'm telling you, what will happen is somebody will love it and they will buy it, and then they will rewrite it for production. So if and people are extremely attached to what they write, and I get it, but if I don't, gestate the poem, deliver the poem, and then send the poem on its merry adult way, and I don't look back at all. And that's just me, because I know people that just babysit what they write, and then someone says something and 80 people have said something fabulous and one person has said something awful, and it ruined their whole day. So
I can't remember the stories I wrote. Like, you understand, I'm scheduling way in advance.
Well, you're so prolific. What happened to the posting 3 times a week?
Well, I'm going back. I am going back to 3 times a week in the new year, but currently it's still scheduled out the way it is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't remember some of the stories I write because I'm so because you're writing to write, right? And so I had to go back and listen to my writing, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I remember I wrote that. Sometimes I don't remember.
And 100, you are churning out. There's something new. You are self-fulfilling, because there's always something new at the cinema. And if there aren't any blockbusters or big Oscar buzz films, you can go to international films or foreign films or indies. There's always material for you.
Yeah, it's pretty intense in that regard, for sure. It's one of those things where, I find myself almost cyclical in the way that I post, because I find that what'll happen is I'll churn out, maybe 10 to 15 reviews in a short period of time, and then feel a little burnt out. And so I'll take a little time off and then kind of resume and get back into the swing of things. And so it's very, I always respect and really admire the people who have that discipline to keep kind of going all the time, because it's not easy, and it's not, sometimes you get writer's block. Like, sometimes, there's instances where you really can't think of what to say or how to put it to paper. And so anyone who has those consistent patterns are people that I have a deep admiration and respect for, because it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, and just a lot of creative juices to flow throughout the course of that. And so, the thing about movies, like you said, Kaz, is it's endless. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could put out a review a day. It would be completely insane, but I probably could.
That's so
Well,
much work.
how much I have to say, but yeah, but it is. Movies are endless. It's constant, and even if I don't feel like talking about current ones, you can always do blasts from the past, and that's always fun too.
All the way back. I mean, you can go all the way back to the beginning with Chaplin, and then or go to Hitchcock or all these the ones who paved the way for what's happening today. So, yeah. Well, John, what else do you
Yeah.
have to say?
Well, I just want to go through our chat quickly, see if there's anything
Okay.
out there that anybody says. But I do want to say hi to Ashley, Kathy, Deanna. There's Christine, Jean, LJ, Olivia, Georgia,
Wow.
Paul, almost Dr. Karen.
Almost Dr. Karen. Dr. Soon. Woo woo. We'll celebrate.
Terry Cook, I'm going to say thank you. Mark, there's Val, there's a whole bunch of people that Juliana Gray, Brenda. So we want to say thank you, Bill, of remembering to laugh. That's a cool one. I love that.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
there's a bunch of Dr. Murat Saban. I guess that's how you say
Saban.
Murat.
Saban.
MUR. Savan. There's Randall, Michelle, Kevin. So yeah, we want to say thank you to there's so many people and thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time. And
Yeah, we really appreciate it so much. I know so many people. Well, I really appreciate you, but we couldn't be here unless if without you, because we would just be talking to ourselves and recording and just sticking it on YouTube, I guess. But
yeah,
yeah, if it weren't for you and wonderful guests like 100, we
yeah,
we wouldn't be a show that is growing every single week. And that is incredibly encouraging and exciting and makes me want to work harder. Even when I don't want to, I will because because I like it. I like it.
100. Hey, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. We'll look forward to your next month. Hopefully, my internet stuff is finally over by then.
Happens
And
to the best of us. I've definitely been there.
yeah,
and
it's been like 4
remember,
weeks
it's
now.
Christmas shows. We're talking about holiday
Yes.
shows.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you love holiday movies, if you have a particular Christmas show you love, come back, tell your friends, tell your family, colleagues, strangers, come back because we will definitely have another really fun conversation with 100
And
Tomatoes.
and if there is a movie you want us to cover, let us know.
Yeah.
And I think 100 is going to have the top 10 of what he likes.
I'm ready.
Top
And
10.
Top 10
grateful. I'm so
holiday
grateful for the opportunity to speak with you all. It's always such a pleasure, and so I'm pretty pumped about talking Christmas movies during the most wonderful time of the year. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, I already have the list kind of turning in my head as we speak because it's
Cool.
just such a fun. The holiday season is always such a joyous time of the year, and there's no shortage of great content during those
No.
December days.
So
Yep.
we want to say thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time. Thank you,
Stick.
Kaz, for helping me
Thank
out
you,
today.
John.
Appreciate it. 100,
Oh, no
always,
worries.
always. And everybody else, thank you for joining our podcast or our live show. Appreciate it. Thank you
Yep.
very
Yep.
much.
See you again soon. You take care.
Thanks for listening to Stories, Soulwork, and Substack. We're so glad you're here. If today's story made you think, smile, or feel something, share it with someone who needs a little light. You can find us anywhere you love to listen on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other streaming platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to Kaz and John's Substack for updates, behind-the-scene notes, and upcoming guests. Keep writing your truth, keep doing your soul work, and remember, your story matters.